Well, as promised, now it's time for the Hanging Around Johnson segment, and I got my guy Tyler Nubin joining me, former Gopher DB, former Gopher great on campus, and now he is a New York Giants. You see the NY on his chest, like a little Superman. But Tyler, man, appreciate you for joining me. For those that don't know, Tyler Nubin was drafted by the New York Giants in this year's past draft. He is no longer a rookie, but did have a rookie season. So what's the one thing you're looking forward to, man, going into this year's like OTAs, off-season minicamp, not being a rookie anymore?
Yeah, I just feel honestly really excited to get in and get more comfortable with the system, get more comfortable playing. Not run around like a chicken with my head cut off after the whole draft process and everything like that. So just being able to come in and play football and really have my focus on that.
And when you think about, your situation with the Giants, we were talking about this. You didn't have a quarterback at one point. Now you got two. You got Jameis and you got Russell Wilson, man. So first, I want to go with the Jameis Winston, man. He has a ton of like viral conversations, interviews, man. Are you looking for? Because like even in practice, you know what I mean. Like he's a guy that's gonna be throwing to the ones defense. How excited are you to kind of hear some of the Jameis-isms that you end up seeing go viral on the internet?
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely excited, man. I'm sure he's like that all the time because I don't think you could fake something like that. So, yeah, definitely excited to get around him, get to know him, get to know Russ as well. I think they definitely gonna be great additions to the team for sure.
So Tyler, man, as we talked about, you're in a building now where you might after a game you're gonna see Sierra. You and the wife, coming walking down the hall, and you'll know her probably before that. But like, how is that first conversation gonna go? Like, what are you thinking? Like, do you just say, "Hey, I got all your music," or do you kind of try to play it cool, or what?
Nah, hey, I'm humble, man. I don't care. I'm gonna let her know she on the playlist too. I mean, she on everybody playlist. I hope so. Yeah, definitely gonna have to let them know for sure. But I mean, I'm sure they already know that. But yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, man, because Sierra, I would say, like, yeah, I grew up with not grew up. I mean, she's younger than me, but the 1-2 step, all the Missy Elliott, the Sierra, she got the new music coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But let's fast forward, man. You got a chance this season to play against some greats, man. You guys played the Vikings, and we know this is a big time Minnesota show. Locked On Sports Minnesota. How was that getting on the field? Having to worry about Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
It was cool, man, especially for that being my first real NFL game. Going against two super talented receivers like that, Jefferson and Addison. It was great. It was fun to prepare for them. Fun to game plan for them, and definitely fun to play against them. They definitely both two real unique receivers. They both do different things, but they're definitely both equally as dangerous. So it was fun for sure.
Yeah, man, because you can have a viral moment, but your boy Terrell Smith, I don't know if you talked to him after the Vikings game.
No, I
He
ain't
had
talking to him.
he had a viral. You got to watch this. He had a viral kind of moment with him and Jordan Addison. Deep ball, dead to rights. All he had to do was catch it, and he bobbles it, and all of a sudden, you think like, okay, pass breakup.
Right.
Turns around, Jordan Addison scoring a touchdown. Terrell Smith. He didn't get mossed. It wasn't a moss situation, but it did kind of like in Minnesota sports at least. It did kind of one of those moments like, man, did Jordan Addison really just do that? And then I'm like, oh wait, that's my guy Terrell Smith. Like, dang.
Yeah.
And we had just had him on the show too, and I'm like, oh, come on, tea time. Like, but like that happens going against the greats. You're gonna get yours, they're gonna get theirs. Who are some receivers this past season, man, that made you realize like what did you have a welcome to the NFL, or this is like rookie welcome to the NFL moment of a guy, like whether you did something to him or he did something to you?
Yeah, definitely against Dallas, playing against CD. I just feel like just him in the open field, just how he makes like his decisions so fast, and just how athletic he is, in itself is just crazy. So that was definitely a welcome to the NFL moment playing against him.
And coming out the tunnel, like I said, New York is a huge market, and it, no matter what you guys do, win, lose, or draw, But I've seen some of your coming out the tunnel moments. I've seen some of your pictures, that the photographers like. It's something about New York and the American flag, and the Big Apple, and all this other stuff, and the historic, Michael Strahan teams, all that. Like, how was that coming out in that uniform, man? Because like the Giants are one of the programs that everybody's like, Dallas, New York, like Green Bay. There's certain teams in the NFL that are historic, Bears,
Right.
and you're one of them with the New York Giants, man. Like when you first put that uniform on, coming out the tunnel, smoke blowing, all that, like what did that feel like?
Man, I can't even describe it, bro. Like Giants was one of my favorite teams growing up. Just watching them and what they were able to do. Back in 2007, 2011. I was a little kid. Growing up watching those teams. Brandon Jacobs is one of my favorite players because he played running back. He wore 27, so I want to be like him. So it's crazy, man. It's a dream come true. I definitely words definitely can't describe that feeling.
And again, going to the NFL, getting prepared for the NFL. PJ Fleck and the Gophers talk about there's a lifestyle program. We're not just coming here for 1 year. We're not going to deep dive heavy into the portal. People got to get in the portal. It happens,
Hmm.
but they're not going to dive heavy into the portal. It's like this is a lifestyle program. What were some things, man, like off the field, lifestyle wise, that kind of prepared you for life off the field with the New York Giants?
Oh, honestly, the whole program really. I mean, we would start team meetings off with something that didn't have to do with football every single day. So I learned a lot. How to handle money. How to be a man. How to take care of yourself. How to do the extra things that you need to do in order to be successful. So I feel like a lot of those habits that I learned, I'm definitely carrying over to the NFL. And if you don't learn those things in college, it's really hard to build those habits in the NFL. And there's guys that I've been around that don't have those habits built yet, and it's hard to do that. So in Minnesota, it's a requirement. So you kind of get used to doing that, living that lifestyle, living right, taking care of your body, eating right, doing the right things outside the facility. So you can set yourself up, later in life. So yeah, it was great, man. And once you do that, once you get used to doing that, it becomes second nature. It becomes part of who you are. So it's hard to not do that every day.
And again, you said something that I want you to kind of elaborate on a little bit. You said some guys aren't set up to do it that way, and so when you see guys like yourself, you, Antoine Winfield, Jordan Howden, you can go down the list now. You got Benjamin St. Juice as a DB as
Hmm.
well. Because I've seen the arguments about Texas and LSU and Alabama being DBU, man, but Minnesota's a sleeping giant for DBs. Ethan Robinson, who came in this past season, transferred from Bucknell. I interviewed him this year on the Ron Johnson show, and we had him on the PJ Flex show as well. And the
Hmm.
one thing I asked him that question, I'm like, why Minnesota? And he said that. He's like, when you see guys like Benjamin St. Juice, when you see Tyler Nubin, Antoine Winfield, Jordan Howden, you can go down the list, Eric Murray,
Hmm.
he's like, man, you feel like this is a place that people take the DB seriously, and you
We
have an
got some guys,
opportunity.
man. We got some guys, man.
So how does that feel to you? I mean, your name's in that list now, man, of
Yeah.
of guys that have pushed the Gophers' NFL dreams to keep them on that upper echelon to say, like, look, like we got more DBs in the league than Wisconsin. We got more DBs in the league than Iowa, man. Like, how's that feel for you to be a part of that?
It feels good, bro. And it's kind of crazy because I don't really know if we really talked about that when we were all together. Thinking about my freshman sophomore year playing with guys like Ben St. Juice, Tweed, Jay Howe. We all kind of, I feel like, expected that, but didn't really have to talk about it. So it's just kind of cool to see all of our work come into fruition and see everybody doing their thing in the NFL because we all seen where we came from. So it's awesome, man. And I'm just blessed to be a part of that group, be in that name, be on that list of guys that did it before me. I was just really following their lead for real.
Yeah, and you got Coy Parrish. I think Coy Parrish is going to
Yeah,
be a name that people are going to talk about. You got
yeah,
Justin Wiley is about to come out now, and
mm,
he's going to be in that early draft pick group.
Jack
You
Henderson.
got, like I said, Terrell Smith from last year. You got Terrell
Mm,
Smith that's out there. So Jack Henderson, he'll have a chance because again, he ran 4.49.
mm,
So he was moving at his pro day, and you were there for it.
right.
I saw you talking to Brian Flores. Flo and I talked a little bit after, man, but I saw you
Yeah.
talking to Brian Flores and he kind of asked you, like, and I think Kevin O'Connell said something to you too
Mm,
about, first year in the league, blah, blah.
right.
How is that when you see coaches like, because, I can see Flo saying like, hey, maybe one day,
Mm,
what is that like when you see coaches that, after you make it, they still like, hey, I believe what I saw. We just couldn't draft them where we wanted, when we could get them. To see like there's a DB coach or there's a head coach that might still
mm.
want you 3 years from now.
Right. I mean, it's cool, man. Definitely, shows a lot of respect because I got a lot of respect for those guys as well. Especially Flo and O'Connell. Those are great coaches in the NFL. They're gonna be around for a real long time. So, it's a mutual respect, and it feels good to have that respect from them back. Especially after playing against them. So, it's cool, man. It's awesome.
And you got married.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, what led you, because I know PJ Fleck taught you how to date. I know they
Hmm.
do a dating thing at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah.
But what was that like? Like that whole thought process and like, hey, like this is the one. I remember, I mean, we talked about this 2 years ago, and I know
Hmm.
you said that like this. I think this is the one.
Hmm.
What kind of, what have you done as a man? Because again, football's football, but then you still got a life.
Hmm.
So what does that time management for you look like?
it's hard, man. Especially when I was in college, juggling, football and school, and then a girlfriend. That's hard. But I think she was always somebody that was always just willing to work with me and just everything that I had, and she made so many sacrifices, for me. Even with her going to school, because she was 2 years older than me. So when she was looking at law school, she could have gone anywhere in the country. She stayed in Minnesota. And she's just always been there. She's always held me down, had my back. So it was really just an easy decision for real. When it came that time, I just wanted to make sure that I got to the league first. Make me make sure I established myself in my career first, and she understood that. So that's why I love her even more for it.
Yeah, man, because it's one of those things where a lot of times, priorities, time management, and it's tough. But like you said, it looks
Hmm.
like the Gophers prepared you for all of this stuff. I know Rachel Baribeau has been around, and she taught you
Yeah.
guys how to, put on your armor, take off your armor when it's time.
Hmm.
How is that? Because mental health in football, a lot of people don't talk about that enough. And I think I'm glad PJ's done that with you guys in Minnesota. Because I
Hmm.
know I was blessed enough to have a support system because I kind of went when I was done with football, depression hit, and now I've talked to guys about that of like, yeah, man, when the lights go dark, you go dark,
Bro.
but like, how do I open up and be vulnerable around other men? How am I vulnerable? And for me, it's been Bible study. It's been, getting in the word and taking time and me and my wife praying and, me and they would be open with her, like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm emotionally struggling with. This is what I'm financially struggling with. This is what I'm sexually struggling with. I mean, there's life to this that people don't understand. So for you, when you look at that, like the Rachel Baribeau side of things, man, like
Hmm.
how is her, cooking in a pot of PJ, putting those type of people around you guys to again, man, money management, stress management, all that stuff, while you're in the NFL, like what have you taken from that?
I think honestly that was one of the most important things we did, like as a team for real. Throughout my 5 years there, just I feel like she as well, like she helps you prepare for everything, not just relationships, with your girlfriend, relationships with your parents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. Because relationships are important in life, and how you build them, and the people you surround yourself with, ultimately is gonna, shape your path and what you're going to be on. So, Coach Fleck made that a huge sticking point every single year about who you surround yourself with, the relationships you have, and how to build great relationships, good relationships that last for a long time. So, yeah, that was great, and I think it helps you in everything, not just just with one person.
And when you're headed down to year two now, you got your you got your teams. You don't know who you're playing or when you're playing. I mean, so you don't know
Mm-hmm.
when you're playing them, but you got your
Mm-hmm.
teams you're playing. We know you got the Cowboys, you got the Commanders. When you play teams like the Commanders and you got St. Juice on the other side, like how fun is that too? Like to be able to not have to compete against him because he's
Mm-hmm.
on defense, you're on defense, so it's just all love. But
Yeah.
how is that like pregame conversation? How is that in-game conversation? If you guys butt heads on special teams, like what
Yeah.
does that look like?
It's been awesome, man. Seeing those guys, that's amazing, bro. I've done so many jersey swaps. I got like everybody jersey. I got everybody. I made sure they did it with me. So that was cool. But seeing those guys, it's amazing, man. Especially seeing Brev, played against Brevin
Yep.
for a game this year on Dallas. So it's amazing, man. Just proud of my guys for sure.
And other than Gopher guys, like who's a jersey swap guy out there in the NFL? Anybody that you really want to make sure you swap with, like before you're all said and done.
Hmm. I'll probably say Minka Fitzpatrick.
Oh, okay,
I didn't get a chance to. Cause I was trying to swap a beanie when
okay.
we played Pittsburgh and he was gone. So I just respect his game, how he played. So yeah, that definitely be somebody for sure.
Yeah, man, because I know like that's one of those safeties that, he did it the hard-nosed way. He did
Mm-hmm.
it the right way. Last one before we get out of here, man, as you head into year two with the New York Giants, what are some short-term goals or what is your thought process this season? When you see because you saw Antoine Winfield, he got the bag. He just put the mark out there real high for safeties, the dollar amount. But what are some of your short-term goals? Not looking too far ahead to contracts, 'cause those are going to come.
Yeah,
But what does year two for Tyler look like?
man. I honestly I haven't really thought too much about specific numbers yet, but honestly I just want to affect the game in every facet. In the run game, the pass game. 'Cause I feel like last year, especially how the season went, I was a little one dimensional. So just affecting the game in every way I can, get my hands on the ball a lot more. That's what I'm really focused on this off season, and just getting more comfortable out there for real.